all about Scorpio part 5. Okay, this time we're going to talk about Scorpio compatibility. Okay, how compatible is Scorpio to other sun signs out there? In my experience, I pretty much, mix well with other sun signs that are or water signs, just like myself. Either that's Scorpio or Cancer or Pisces, although I don't know, a lot of Pisces people out there. But yeah, it's mostly water signs or earth signs, okay? Now let's see here. Let's start with the first one. Scorpio and Aries. It results to low compatibility. This is just based on my personal experience, and this may not be true to everybody. But Aries, it's probably because both are very headstrong. Both are very strong people, They have strong personalities, Scorpio and Aries. So probably there's a clash, It's a battle of wills or whatever. Because most Aries that I know, they're very, very aggressive. They have very aggressive, strong personality, men and women, And in my personal experience, I don't mix well with fire signs. And Aries can be very much too aggressive for me. And also, Aries are the type of, they're natural born leaders, by the way. That's a good thing about Aries. So, it's low compatibility because, I think, and just my opinion, it's because both are very strong signs. And, they do clash. When you put one sign and another sign were very, very strong, and when you put them together, and when they disagree on some things, then you can expect chaos, okay? So, in my experience, yeah, I don't think Scorpio and Aries mix really, really well. But then again, of course, some people would say, why is it that my father, he is an Aries, and my mom is a Scorpio, but, they're perfect together. I never saw them fight or argue. They're perfectly, okay. Well, I guess there are many factors. You can also check out their rising sign and their moon sign, and definitely a lot of astrologers would tell you that, because it doesn't necessarily mean that if your sun sign is a Scorpio, then you're all of the traits or characteristics that you're exhibiting is, from a Scorpio. You could have some, influence of a Taurus, or you have an influence, you have sort of like an affliction, or you possess some traits of a Virgo, probably, or an Aquarius, whatever. So you have to pay attention to the rising sign and the moon sign, okay? But that's the first one. Scorpio and Aries, low compatibility. Number 2. Scorpio and Taurus, medium. I know that Scorpio and Taurus are opposite signs. The opposite sign of a Scorpio, it's actually a Taurus. Again, it's also a clash of wills. Probably because Taurus are the stubborn type. It's a fixed sign, just like a Scorpio. It is a fixed sign, so they're both stubborn. That's probably why they're opposite, But what a Scorpio can actually admire about a Taurus, that's probably why the compatibility is medium. It's because Taurus can actually assure Scorpio of stability. Scorpio is also after stability, and Taurus can definitely provide that to a Scorpio. And usually Taurus are very loyal as well to their partner. They're also equally passionate to a Scorpio. So it's a, medium compatibility. They're going to clash when it comes to if they disagree in some things, and they're both stubborn about it. Both are not going to move, especially a Taurus, like a Taurus or Taurians that I know, they're very stubborn, especially if they disagree with it, or they don't like it, or they don't like a certain thing, a topic, or they don't believe on it, or what. They're going to stick to it. They're not really going to change. They're very stubborn. So I guess that's a thing that's not going to work for Scorpios, vice versa. And also for a Taurus, probably a Taurian will probably find a Scorpio a bit controlling at times, in which Taurus would not probably like. because again, if Taurian believe in one thing and a Scorpio disagrees with that, the Taurus will act as stubborn as ever, So it's all about being stubborn. Both signs are stubborn, so probably that's the only thing that's going to be negative for both, or probably that's something that they're not going to, or something that's going to make them clash, in other words, okay? So it's a medium compatibility. Next one is Scorpio and Gemini, low compatibility, okay? I definitely agree with this, because I notice that I don't mix well with a lot of air signs and fire signs. In my case, I really don't mix well with them. Again, this doesn't apply to everybody, okay? And of course, it might be that even though her sun sign is actually, let's say, in Aries, but her attitude or what she possesses is more of being like a Capricorn woman, probably because of the affliction, or probably because of the rising sign or the moon sign, okay? But Scorpio and Gemini, going back to that, it's low compatibility because of a number of things. Based on my study, what a Scorpio cannot deal with a Gemini is their fickle-mindedness. Scorpio is known for being having no middle grounds. Like everything is, black and white. And Geminis can be, they tend to be like, it's like, basically it's a twin, right? It's being fickle-minded. Like they can change their decision in a snap. And probably that's one thing that will make them clash. And another thing, a lot of Gemini that I know, hey, don't get mad at me, but I've known a lot of Gemini folks out there, men and women. They're very, although they're very witty, though. They're very intelligent people. They're witty. They're very clever. But when it comes to flirting, they're really good at it. They're number one at it. A lot of Gemini that I know are flirts by nature, whether it's a man or a woman. They love to flirt. They love to flirt around. And I've read in one book that's the similarity between Gemini and another air sign, which is Libra. And we're talking about Gemini women and Libra women. They have this sort of like a secret, which is, or unconsciously, they love to flirt even if they're married, because they wanted to show to the world, or even to prove to themselves that, hey, I'm still hot. Even if I'm already married, even if I already have kids, I can still flirt, and, I can get my flirt on and be flirted back, and I'm still hot, That's one thing. Okay, so Scorpio and Gemini will not mix well in terms of the flirting, because, again, Scorpio can be very jealous and possessive. So if a Scorpio sees their Gemini partner flirting around, then that's gonna spell a lot of trouble. Probably that's one of the reasons why it has low compatibility, aside from the fact that Gemini men and women, they don't want to be like put in a situation where, they can't be free. Freedom is very important for Gemini. And mostly air signs, especially Gemini and Aquarius. So don't take that one thing that is so important for them, which is, again, freedom. And Scorpio, they're pretty much the controlling type, especially in partnerships, they can be very controlling and very possessive. So that's going to suffocate a lot of Gemini. Okay, so that's just my opinion based on the studies, based on experiences that I've had, and also not my personal experience, but from studies and other partners or other relationships who from other people where they would actually, tell me things like that. Like, I don't like my Scorpio partner because he's like this, or I don't like my Gemini partner because she's like this, or he is like this, okay? So anyway, let's proceed to the next one. And the next one would be Scorpio and Cancer. Now, this one is really high compatibility. And a lot of the people that I associate with or I get along with pretty well, aside from Scorpio myself, are Cancers, Cancerians. They're very kind and caring in nature, both men and women, okay? Now, these two are a match made in heaven. It's because a Scorpio, number one, they can actually put up with a Cancerian's moodiness. Cancerians are very moody. A lot of my Cancers, dear Cancers, they are really, really moody. They can change from one mood to another, and a Scorpio can put up with that, can really understand that. In return, a Cancerian can actually not only fulfill the emotional needs that a Scorpio is looking for, but a Cancerian can actually understand the complexities of a Scorpio's nature, Scorpio people are very complex in nature, and definitely a Cancerian can put up with that as well and can understand a Scorpio's complexities or difficulties that other people probably not understand. Only probably a fellow Scorpio or a Cancer would understand. Okay, so these two really mix well together, and both are very emotional signs. Both are very sensitive signs, especially a Cancer. They're very sensitive, so they both can understand each other because they possess the same traits, almost the same traits. And both, at the same time, let me mention this, both are home buddies. I don't know, but a lot of my Cancer friends and Scorpio friends, they like to spend quality time together with their partner at home. They're home buddies, Home is a sacred thing, It's like your sacred place for them. And I guess both shares the same type of interest, okay? So, very compatible. I'm sure a lot of people would say, but why is it that I know someone who's a Scorpio and a Cancer in a relationship, and they argue a lot, okay? Again, like what I've mentioned in the past, or in the previous recordings, you have to pay attention to the sun sign and the, not only to the sun sign, but the rising sign and the moon sign. And also, of course, any couple out there, whether they're, they're Aries or Taurus or Capricorn or whatever, arguments are very normal, and it happens to, to everybody, to couples, okay? So, but most definitely a Scorpio can mix well with a Cancer. There also, another thing that I'd like to mention, Cancerians are very, the motherly type. They're very nurturing. They're very caring, men and women, okay? And something that probably a Scorpio would not put up with a Cancerian. This is based on my study and based on, Scorpio and Cancer partnership that I know. It's Cancerians being the smothering type. They can be very, very clingy and too emotional at times, which will put off a Scorpio, okay? But definitely, both, they mix well. But once a Cancer actually, gives up on you, then you can never get them back. They're going to turn their backs from you, and that's it, okay? And another tip as well, because this is a good topic about Scorpio and Cancer, another tip is if your Cancer partner, they try to go back to their shell. They're not talking, because that's one of the feedbacks that I get, that a lot of Cancerians, men and women, when they're pissed off at their Scorpio partner, they tend to retreat to their shell. Like, they don't talk and all that. They really wouldn't, they're not going to talk. And that pisses off a Scorpio. Like, they're not going to, be very open to their partner. And the tip there is actually to just let them be. Just let them be, let them have their space. And try not to be too, too hard on them. Just, just first give them space and then probably get back to them and, and try to patch things up. And the most important thing is that you have to be very, very honest with your partner, especially with a Cancer or a Scorpio. One thing I also would like to mention is that one of the things that a Cancer wanted in a partner or in a love relationship is for partners to make them feel that they appreciate, like a Scorpio should actually let their partners know, a Cancerian partner know that they do appreciate the Cancerian's kindness, the things that a Cancer is actually showering them with affection, with a lot of love, with a lot of care and all that. That's the thing for Cancerians. They wanted that. They wanted to feel that they're being appreciated. Okay, so there you go. Okay, but those are the things that really really says a lot about Scorpio and Cancer partnerships, and definitely it's a match made in heaven. They're both, again, very sensitive, very moody. Well, not Scorpios, but a lot of Cancerians are very moody, and Pisces too, but both are definitely emotional and sensitive. So that explains why both can understand each other very, very well. So that's a high compatibility. And a scale of 1 to 5, it's a number 5 being the highest. Okay, so what's the next one? Next one, it's Scorpio and Leo. Low compatibility. My first love was actually a Leo, but he's actually part Leo and part Cancer, so he's a cusp. Okay, a lot of Leos can be very, and I've read on a lot of articles that Scorpios and Leo, they really do clash. It's one of the, not just the opposite, because the opposite sign of a Scorpio is actually it's actually Taurus or Taurians, but they really are not too compatible with Leos, because Leos are also very controlling in nature. So definitely it's going to clash. That kind of trait is going to clash with a fellow Scorpio is also controlling in nature. So they both have this passion for control. They both have this, passion to lead and to be in control and to be the boss. So if these two get mixed together, definitely you would see a lot of arguments, a lot of chaos. Okay, and in my personal experience, the one thing that probably would make a Scorpio and a Leo tick, it's their passion, because both are very passionate, loyal signs, okay? Except for most Leos, and don't get mad at me, but there's a lot of Leos that are very flirt in nature, just like a Gemini. They're very flirtatious. Men and women, they love to flirt. I don't know why, but they really love to flirt, even if they're married. I see a lot of Leo men and women who are already married, but they love to flirt with other people, even if they're already, taken, or if they're already engaged or in a relationship. They still love to get their flirt on, which is something that, again, just like the Gemini people out there, it's something that's going to cause a lot of, stir up a lot of trouble if they're actually married or in a relationship with a Scorpio, because a Scorpio wouldn't want a flirt for a partner. Definitely not. Men and women, Scorpio men and women would definitely disagree and wouldn't want that in a relationship. They're very loyal themselves. But for Leos who are very loyal to their partner, they're still Leos who are very loyal. Like completely loyal. They're going to be the protector of the family, and they're going to be, be there and stick by your side. But there are some Leos who are very playful in nature. They're very hasty with their decisions. They love to, to flirt with different types of people out there. It depends. Not all Leos are like that, but there are a lot of Leos that I know that even if they're married, they love to flirt with different partners, okay? So, I don't know why. I can't explain why. But men and women Leos, I find them very flirtatious in nature. And that's probably, or most probably, the thing that will actually piss off a Scorpio, something a Scorpio cannot cope up with. Okay, and another thing, it's the control, because both are very controlling. Both wanted to take the lead. So definitely, if both of them are like that, they're definitely going to, get into an argument, or they will clash. Okay. What else? What else about Scorpio and Leo? Why is it low compatibility? I guess it's because what a Leo cannot put up with a Scorpio, aside from, it's going to be a battle or a clash of who's going to take the lead or what. It's also Leo's going to feel uncomfortable with the Scorpio's intimidating nature, and I guess it's also because Leos don't like mystery. A lot of them don't like mystery. Like, they don't want, things that are so hidden. Like, they get really pissed off with that, okay? And another thing, a Scorpio will not like a Leo in terms of Leo's aggressiveness. Let's say we're talking about flirt, okay? But a Scorpio, if I find a Leo woman so aggressive in nature, they get totally turned off. And I'm also basing it on my experience. A lot of my Scorpio friends who had dealt with a Leo female, most of them would tell me that they're very hot. Like, I'm not talking about like they're hot, like they're, of course, a lot of Leo women are hot. But we're talking about very aggressive and very sexual as well in nature. Although, it's funny because both signs are very sexual. They say that the most lustful signs are actually Scorpio and Leo, okay? Which is probably something that both are going to be compatible with in terms of expressing their sexual or sensual side. But, some Scorpio men that I've, dealt with or friends with would tell me that they find Leo women too aggressive in nature, really hot in terms of like, it puts them off. Like, they don't want a woman so aggressive and flirtatious and daring and bold and all that. They find it a bit too strong for them. They wanted basically someone who's very secretive in nature as well. Something that challenges. There you go. A woman that will challenge a Scorpio man. Okay. So, as for a Scorpio female dealing with a Leo, I guess Leos, in my case, I've dealt with a Leo man who's really flirtatious too, very flamboyant and all that. They're really good. They make you laugh. They're very fun, definitely fun to hang out with. But they're being flirtatious or flirting around with a lot of girls, and being, having that kind of attitude where they wanted to be the center of attention is also something that puts us off. And especially, if you don't show a Scorpio some things that will challenge them, then definitely it's going to be on the rocks, because Scorpio wanted something in a partner that is very not only loyal. I'm not saying all Leos are not loyal, but there's some Leos who are not loyal to their partner. The type who's just really not sticking to one partner just yet. That would definitely put off a Scorpio. There's definitely going to be a clash. But I guess what I wanted to say, and based on the feedbacks that I get, is that a Scorpio would definitely not find any challenge in a Leo because of their aggressiveness in nature and too bold and too daring, too daring and aggressive, that doesn't really challenge a Scorpio. Why am I saying this? It's because a Scorpio can easily say, hey, this girl is flirting with me. She likes me so much. Where's the challenge there? Okay? But especially if a Scorpio male is dealing with someone who poses as a challenge to them, like he doesn't know whether this girl really likes him or not, that makes him more interested. That will make him stay in the relationship even more. All right, so there you go. What's the next thing? Let's move on to Scorpio and Virgo. Now this one, it's medium compatibility. And earlier I've mentioned that Scorpio mix well with water signs or earth signs. And Virgo is actually an earth sign. And just like Taurians or Taurus, they're very stable. Perfectionist and practical and down to earth. Okay, so these two share the same thing, and I tell you, a lot of Virgos listening to this, a lot of Scorpios as well, because my sister is also a Scorpio, and it's not just because we're sisters. And I've also asked a lot of Virgo people out there. I mix well with Virgos too, by the way. The thing that we share the same with Virgos, it would be that we get easily irritated with stupid things. Stupid people. I'm sorry, I'm just being blunt. But a lot of Virgos, to really, piss them off, is actually to, if they're dealing with a stupid person, or anything that is stupid, okay? I'm sorry, but I'm just being very blunt here, but definitely Virgos listening to this can definitely agree to it. Anything that is stupid will actually piss them off, will really, really piss them off. And that's going to spoil their mood. Number two would be, these are the two major things. Stupid, anything stupid. And number two would be, if you have them repeat the same thing over and over and over again, that's really going to piss them off. So I guess that's something that that would actually piss off a Virgo. So if a Scorpio partner is doing those things, or, which is rare, especially when it comes to the stupidity, because both don't like stupid things, but, when it comes to having to repeat themselves over and over again, which a Scorpio might, do, that will actually piss them off, okay? But both will actually, go well together, because probably a Virgo, what they can actually admire in a Scorpio is a Scorpio's loyalty and a strength of character in a Scorpio is something that would actually amaze a Virgo. And the one thing as well with Virgos is that they're very logical. I'm not saying Scorpios are not. Scorpios are also logical. But when they become too emotional, in which, they're very emotional signs too. It's an emotional sign rather. It will actually also piss off a Virgo. Because Virgos, most of them uses their head over their heart. Okay, they're more logical than emotional, so probably that explains why it's medium compatibility. But yeah, they pretty much mix well together, and it's one thing that I can definitely agree on, because not only romantic partnerships, but since my sister is also a Virgo, and she is a true blue Virgo, because she possesses a lot of characteristics or traits of a Virgo. She's just like that, very, very logical, practical, determined, and all that. And that's also one thing that a Scorpio can learn from, the practicality of a Virgo. That's something a Scorpio can learn from a Virgo. And that's also one of the things that will probably make the relationship work too. Or what a Scorpio can also admire from a Virgo partner. Also, a Virgo is very loyal as well. To their partner. Just don't give them reasons not to. But it's not known for it's not a sign that you will tag as flirtatious. It's very rare to see flirtatious Virgos out there. They're pretty much the stick to one type as well. Again, not all of them are, but pretty much the type is also loyal, in which a Scorpio would want in a partner. Okay, next one, it's Scorpio and Libra. Now, this one is low compatibility. It's like when you mix them together, it's going to be quite boring. I don't know. But earlier I mentioned that I've read in one book that, and again, we're going to talk about loyalty here, which is something that actually a Scorpio will value, is that some Libra women, they tend to, flirt with other men out there, even if they're married, because they wanted to show to themselves or prove to themselves that they're still hot and all that. And definitely it's something that a Scorpio wouldn't want in a partner, and vice versa. If it's a Libra man that you're with and you're a Scorpio female, and then you find your Scorpio, or rather your Libra man flirting with another woman just to prove to themselves that they're hot, then it's something that is not definitely going to work for a lot of Scorpios out there. And another thing, it would be because it's kind of like boring, kind of like boring. I don't know. I don't see any spark in there. And again, I'm not saying this is going to apply to everybody for every Scorpio and Libra relationship. I'm pretty sure there's Scorpio Libra partnership that are really successful, but then again, you need to pay attention to the rising sign, the moon sign, okay? But generally, Scorpios and Libras, they don't go pretty much well. They will find each other boring. Probably Scorpio would be too aggressive for a Libra, or too controlling. Again, it's a control thing. Too manipulative and all that, because a Libra is someone who's actually always in the middle. It's a, balance, right? We're talking about balance and scales. And Scorpio, it's all or nothing. So I guess that explains why it's low compatibility. All right. And what's the next thing? Scorpio and Scorpio, high compatibility. Okay, now I can definitely say a lot about this, because I've dealt with a lot of Scorpio men and women, and most of my friends, once again, they're all Scorpios, and few of them are actually Cancerians, and definitely I mix well with a lot of Scorpios and Cancers. Water signs, basically. But this one is high compatibility, not only because they're both water signs, but of course both can understand perfectly well each other. Both are the same. They mirror each other. So they do mix well, because a Scorpio can understand a fellow Scorpio's complexities, and understand their nature, and understand what makes them tick, or what makes them piss off, what they don't like, and what they do like, So if there's one sign that can actually understand Scorpio's complexity, it's actually another Scorpio. That is why they mix well together. Both are very strong. Both are very ambitious. Both are very sensitive in nature. Both are very intense and passionate and determined. So when you put a Scorpio man and a Scorpio woman, or vice versa, a Scorpio woman and a Scorpio man together, it's going to be, really good. Because they can understand each other. They know what to bring into the table. Like, if a Scorpio is feeling this way, a Scorpio man is feeling this way, then a Scorpio female would definitely understand why he's acting that way, because she too experienced the same type of traits, or have that same kind of attitude, or can understand where her Scorpio man is coming from, okay? So they mirror definitely each other. And in terms of sexual compatibility, definitely it's going to go really, really well because both are sexual in nature too. So they can definitely express themselves and in private, of course, and they can fulfill each other's bedroom needs, as you know, that's what I heard, and that's what I read from other articles or books too. But let me mention one thing, and this also happened to me. Not just, I've never had a boyfriend. It's not a relationship like I've been in a relationship with a Scorpio man or a romantic relationship, but most of my friends are Scorpio guys, okay? And there's also one thing I would like to mention. It is a match made in heaven, Scorpio to Scorpio, but it can also be a match made in hell, okay? So I mentioned on the previous recordings that Scorpios, it's just black and white, all or nothing. So it's the same thing. It can either be very heavenly type of relationship or a hellish type of relationship. Why did I say that? Because if a Scorpio clashes with another Scorpio on a certain topic or belief or views, both are very stubborn. So both are not going to give any way. Okay, so that means, chaos. That will spell a lot of chaos. So it's a heaven or hell type of relationship. It can be heaven because you both understand each other. You can fulfill each other's needs, and you mirror each other. You can support each other's beliefs and all that. But once you disagree on something, and both are not willing to give way, both are not willing to compromise, then that's going to be a hell of a situation there. So both are strong personalities. So that explains why it can be good match or it can be bad match, But in my experience, I'm really great friends with a lot of Scorpio guys, but when we argue, it's going to be really one of a hellish experience. Like, I've argued with my best friend in the past, and it was like, it was really terrible. But then, of course, we tried to patch things up. But what I could say is that it can either be really good, like we're really in good terms, where it was, really wonderful, absolutely amazing. But if we disagree on some point, at some level of, we did not disagree on one viewpoint or one thing, then would definitely, be fighting like cats and dogs, and nobody's going to give way, okay? But yeah, it's it's a high compatibility, Scorpio to Scorpio. All right, what's the next one? Scorpio and Sagittarius. This one, it's low compatibility. Sag is actually a fire sign, just like Leo and Aries. And of course, they're very aggressive in nature. That is, something's not going to work well with a Scorpio, just like the Leo and the Aries out there. Aside from that, I guess the one thing that explains why these two aren't really a good match, ask any Sag out there, and they would tell you that freedom is very important for them. Just like Gemini and just like an Aquarius, freedom is so important for a Sagittarius. For instance, if you try to tell a Sag, this is what she's going to do, or this is what you need to do, or you have to be here by 10, you have to do this, you have to do that, it's something that will really piss them off. And definitely they're very stubborn at it. They're not really going to do it because their way is the highway, basically. And that's something that's going to be a problem for Scorpios, especially Scorpios being too demanding at times and very, what do you call this, controlling at times. So it's something that's not going to work well with a Sag. It's as simple as that. Aside from being aggressive in nature, it's also the freedom thing That's very important for a lot of Sagittarius. So if you expect a Sag to be there by 10, they will most probably will not do that, because they're going to do what they want. Okay, no one's going to tell them what they're supposed to do. They're that type, really, you know. They value their own time and freedom, and they don't appreciate people who are controlling them, or telling them what to do, or they should be here by this time of the hour or whatever. So I guess that's one thing why a Scorpio and Sagittarius will not work together, okay? Although both are very blunt, you know, people. I've mentioned in the past recordings that the one thing that is, you know, that makes the similarities, again, between Scorpio and Sagittarius, although there's also a huge difference, is that they're both blunt. But the only difference, the main or huge difference, is that a Sag will say things that based on what they see, and without intending to harm anyone. A Scorpio can be very, very blunt, but they do it because they feel that they needed to. So in other words, when they, you know, say something, they really mean it. Okay, so those are the similarities of a Scorpio. Pretty much of a similarity between a Scorpio and a Sag. But in terms of incompatibility, the things that they will not really, that will not work for both signs, it's actually the freedom thing of a Sagittarius. They wanted to be in control, that's for sure. They wanted to be their own boss, okay? Anyway, moving on to the next sign. Scorpio and Capricorn. Now this one is actually medium compatibility, another earth sign. So again, aside from water signs, Scorpio mixes well with earth signs, and again, Capricorns are earth signs, and just like Taurus and Virgos, which we've discussed earlier, these people are very practical too, just like Virgos. They're stable and down to earth. And the one thing that is similar to the similarity rather between a Scorpio and Capricorn, it's them being too hardworking. Both are very hardworking signs, okay? Both are very determined and very ambitious. So if you put these two together, especially in a partnership, it's going to be a very successful one. You know, financially, it's going to be very stable. You know, and it's probably one thing that a Capricorn would also want in a Scorpio, because Scorpios are hardworking themselves, and they can really bring food to the table, okay? I don't see any negative partnership when it comes to in terms of the partnership between a Scorpio and a Capricorn. Really, probably it's only let's see. Probably it's the Capricorn's melancholic side. You know, when they're actually in that state where they're very like detached at times, or very lonely at times, that can actually somewhat put off a Scorpio, but not really, or not in most cases, okay? But definitely Scorpio and Capricorn, they get along really well, because again, both share the same ambitions. I mean, they're both ambitious, rather, and they're both very determined and hardworking people. And Capricorns are very stingy. They're really good when it comes to money. Honestly, I find a lot of Capricorn people out there is very good with their money. So, in terms of money and financial stability, you can definitely depend on a Capricorn, okay? Okay, next one would be Scorpio and Aquarius. This one, it's low compatibility. Why? Probably, again, it's about the freedom thing. I've mentioned that over and over earlier, because the freedom thing applies to Gemini, Aquarius, and not only them, but Sagittarius, which is a fire sign. The Gemini and Aquarians are both wind element, or air element rather. but Sagittarius, it's a fire sign. Now for Aquarius, Aquarius, they do value, again, their freedom, okay? You can't put them in one spot and expect them to be there the way you want it to. You can't control them like that. They expect to be given that freedom anytime they wanted to, okay? The one thing that a Scorpio can actually admire in an Aquarius or Aquarian is their logical or analytical type of thinking. They're very analytical and very logical. That's one thing I like about Aquarians, you know. They're very intelligent people. And it's one thing that a Scorpio would definitely admire in an Aquarian, because Scorpios goes for the intellectual type. A lot of Aquarians are very intellectual, and they can really amaze you with their viewpoints and all that. But I guess it's the freedom thing that will not really work well with, you know, between a Scorpio and an Aquarian, okay? I guess that's just about it, about Scorpio and Aquarians. I don't much, probably because I don't know much about Aquarians. It's rare of me to, you know, to be friends with them. I don't have that much friends, or I don't know a lot of people who are actually born under that sign, but as far as the studies and the books that I've read, although I know someone who's an Aquarian, but just a few of them, but definitely they're very intelligent people. You will definitely admire their way of thinking, logical thinking and all that. But the one thing that is not going to sit well with us Scorpios is that they tend to, you know, they're weird people. You know, they're weird people. And Scorpios are weird too. So suddenly, you know, Aquarians can do things out of the blue. Like really, you know, really surprise you at times. And they really demand freedom from their partners. So I don't think that's going to work well between a Scorpio and an Aquarius, okay? So there you go. The next one and the last one would be Scorpio and Pisces. Okay, this one is another water sign, and this one is high compatibility because aside from the fact that both are water signs, they are very emotional too. Pisces are very sensitive too, just like Cancers, and Pisceans are very dreamy. You know, they're very dreamy and very psychic too. I guess it's mostly about the sensitive side that a Scorpio and a Cancer can actually appreciate with one another, okay? Both are very sensitive sign, and they know what each other feels, you know? They know if they're acting way too much, or if, you know, they know if it's hurting their partners or not, you know, and a lot of Pisceans that I know are also moody. They're also very moody, but they're very, you know, very fun to be with and very quiet. And like they're always in a dreamland or something. But definitely these two mix well together. But between a Pisces and a Cancer, I know a lot more about a Cancer compared to a Pisces, because a lot of my friends are either Scorpios or Cancers. But based on the studies and some of my experience with a Piscean, yeah, they're very good-natured people too, very sensitive. Some of them are very loudmouth. Some of them are really quiet. The loudmouth type are the ones that are very, you know, funny. They're really funny. They, you know, take things very, not too seriously. But I'm not saying that Pisceans are, you know, not the type to be serious with, that they're not serious with their lives. But they say that there are two types of fishes. Like in a Pisces, either they sink or swim. Okay, so there are a lot of Pisces who like to swim upward, or there are a lot of Pisces who swims downward. The difference between the two, they're Pisces are very ambitious, so they sink upward. Or rather, they swim upward. They're Pisceans who sink downward because, they're the types who they really don't care. Like, they are very relaxed. Like, they don't know what to do with their lives. So they're just relaxed and, not really worried about anything, But, once a Piscean finds what they're really looking for, either in a partnership or actually in a job or career, then there is definitely a huge possibility that they're going to swim upward, But definitely in terms of relationship or compatibility between the Pisces and Scorpio, they do mix well together. Both are very, very sensitive, okay? So there you go. This one is really, really way too long. But thank you so much. It's almost an hour long recording, but I appreciate you listening to the recordings, and I hope this helped a lot. Again, before I end this recording, this doesn't definitely apply to everybody out there. A lot of people might say, you know what, that's not true. It doesn't really resonate with me, or I mix well with Aries, or I mix well with this sign, and nothing is wrong. So you have to pay attention once again to the rising sign. Maybe they're afflicted with another zodiac sign, not just their sun sign. So you have to pay attention to the rising and the moon sign, okay? And it depends on the environment, okay? The culture, the environment they were brought up, or the environment that they're in, okay? So there are a lot of factors, but generally, these are the sun sign or the Scorpio compatibility, and I hope you really enjoyed it, okay? Until then, I'll post another recording all about Scorpio Part 6. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.